What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua. And by the writer of Romer Cherubim. Romer Cherubim has wrote on Boxing News 24 in an article, and it states, should Anthony Joshua consider quitting boxing? Okay. And the article reflected the performance against Jermaine Franklin, of course, the two losses to Alexander Usyk, the performance expectations of Joshua. He admitted that he should have knocked out his brave opponent. So the question remains, however, why he did not. Some say that Joshua has lost his edge, while his supporters maintain that it will take time for him to adjust to the methods adopted by his new trainer, Derek James. James started training Joshua after his second loss, of course, to Alexander Usyk. And the change in trainer is plausible reason for AJ's fans to justify the apparent lack of passion he demonstrated against Franklin on Saturday night. However, Joshua is no ordinary fighter. He claims to be an elite fighter. For AJ to make this claim, it's only fair to compare him to other elite fighters in the heavyweight division who changed trainers. In this regard, the obvious comparison would be with the WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. Fury's trainer for his bout with Deontay Wilder was Ben Davison. While it was generally acknowledged that Davison had done a sterling job in making Fury fit enough to compete again at a top level, Fury considered that he needed a bit more to make him not just a skilled boxer, but also a dangerous fighter. Tyson Fury therefore enlisted the services of Sugar Hill to do so, and by then he had done what he was destined to do, was stop his foe, Deontay Wilder. Now, speaking of Deontay Wilder also changed trainers, and he lost his next fight with Fury on the third fight, but he stayed with that trainer. And he got a win, and he, like Joshua, hasn't won since 2019, right? He lost in 2020, and he lost in 2021. He came back in 2022, and beat Robert Helenius. But I think the difference between Wilder and Joshua, because they've been through the same exact shit. They were beat back both by the same guy. Usyk beat Joshua twice. Tyson Fury beat Deontay twice. The only difference was Deontay, when he came back and his guy, Robert Helenius, he took him out. He did what was expected of him, and he did it quickly. And I think that's what got him off the hook. I think the knockout, which was less than a round, got him completely off the hook from thinking he was a shot fighter, from the idea of him still being able, mentally fit to compete because, of the things that he said and, the wild accusations and stuff like that. A lot of times when you come up with those delusional circumstances or comments, people think that you more than likely, have some type of brain damage. And then he did mention skull denting and stuff like that. Not skull fracturing, not skull breaking, but skull denting. That is also all by itself alarming. So a lot of people question that. But when he went in there and knocked out Robert Helenius in less than one round, people are like, okay, we're good. Well, Joshua goes in there and goes 12 rounds with Jermaine Franklin, a tough fighter with a chin that I haven't even really known him to go down. Okay, so this guy is very durable, and you're not going to knock everybody out, people. But since he did knock him out, they question, is he that guy? And I think it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And let me explain. Joshua put his foot in his mouth by talking shit about Dillian White. Okay. He goes and faces a guy that Dillian White fought, which that's already a bad thing. Joshua should have fought Otto Wallin, but he passed on Otto Wallin by taking on someone like Jermaine Franklin. But he criticized Dillian Whyte for not getting the job done. He should have busted him up, but he went in there and did the same shit. So people should be going at Anthony Joshua for that reason, but for that reason only, because I think people are overlooking the fact that Jermaine Franklin is one tough mother sucker. He just is. He's a determined guy, and I think he's been that guy that no one really knew. But a lot of people had things to say because they didn't know who he was. And he wanted to prove a point, and he's proven too. He's proven that he's tough. He's proven a lot of things. He's calm, and he will get more fights. He will make more money. He will probably fight Ruiz or Charles Martin or, somebody down the trough. Okay? So, Mr. Cherubim, should Anthony Joshua retire? No, he shouldn't retire. He just did something, or he didn't do something that we thought or expected him to do. But I'll say this. Deontay Wilder is one up on him only because Deontay Wilder got the job done. But let's take a look at Wilder versus Joshua. Joshua looks at himself as a boxer. Wilder looks at himself as a destroyer, a knockout artist, a finisher. And one thing about Wilder, though, his mentality has never changed as far as doing what he intends to do. He intends to knock your head off into the fifth row of whatever venue he's fighting at. He's aiming to knock you out. He's not aiming to box you or see how good he can box or be timid or this, that, and the other. No, his objective is to knock you out. Not to beat you up, but just to knock you out. Now, he claims he wants a body. Well, if that's giving a body knocking you out, so be it. That's Deontay Wilder. And I think a lot of people cling to that because of that. Okay? And what he did to Helenius, everyone was like, okay, he's back off the hook. But the irony of that is, does that really mean he's ready to take on guys that are way above the level of Robert Helenius? We don't know. But it shouldn't, because if he goes in there and fights someone that is close or much more dangerous than Robert Helenius, and then he goes through some adversity, he gets dropped or things like that, don't be surprised. Okay? Because I think for the most part, Jermaine Franklin is a much more dangerous opponent than Robert Helenius. Styles make fights. They're different styles. They're different heights. I get it. But Wilder knew Robert Helenius. Joshua didn't know Jermaine Franklin. Nobody really knew Jermaine Franklin, to be fair. Robert Helenius went down with a solid, or not even a solid punch, but with a right hand. Jermaine Franklin has never been dropped before. Do you see where I'm getting at? These are two different guys. So should Joshua retire? Joshua should consider retiring if he goes in there against someone, another tough fighter, and he gets hurt or dropped, or he looks timid after adapting to his trainer, because we know at that point it's not his trainer's fault, or it's not because he needs to get adjusted to his trainer. It's just he's a shot fighter or a timid fighter, and he's never been the same since the losses that he took. At that point, we should be asking that question. I think it's too early to ask that question right now of AJ, because we need to see what AJ does and what he learned from Derek James. Of course, this is their first ride, okay? But as far as retiring, no, I don't think that's the case. But is it exciting to see him, throw a combination and grab? Hell to the no. It reminds me of Klitschko, and everybody knows I hated the Klitschko era. So please, pretty please, with sprinkles on top, don't bring the Klitschko era back to the heavyweight division, because it will go as dark as it was when the Klitschkos were reigning it. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this article asking if Anthony Joshua should retire or consider retirement. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.